Hello YouTubers and TikTokers alike, I am Kyle and this is Story Time. This story takes place in Syracuse, New York in the winter of 2011. This was an interesting winter. You see, a friend of mine and I were planning on going to college in New York. We live in Ohio, so we had to have a way to get up there, and his parents were gracious enough to be able to give us a ride up there. True bonding time, you know what I'm saying? It was a good time, it was awesome. I have been friends with this family for years. They are literally like a second family, so a 14-hour trip? Oh yeah, no problem at all. Jake, no sarcasm. It was a great trip. We had a wonderful time. Well, partially, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Now, I want you to understand something about my friend's dad. This man is everything that is man. You walk into his man cave, it is riddled with cassette tapes of old rock music. We're talking Kiss, we're talking Skid Row, we're talking everything. We are talking every 70s to 80s metal band that is out there. He loves his music, he loves his guns, and he loves to be intimidating. Not because it gives him power, but because it strikes fear within all of us men. From when I was 10 years old, I knew this man. Now, I was not really friends with my friend at that point, but I knew him from some church youth groups and things like that. He was a leader, and he was just scary. He always was scary. But he's a genuinely nice dude, but he just always scared me. So the day that me and my friend Luke became friends, I realized who his dad was, and I went, oh man, that's your dad? Oh dude, I don't know if this is gonna work out. But and all joking aside, he's a really awesome guy. You just don't want to make him angry. And I am here to say that I have made him angry quite a few times. So as I was saying, we're in Syracuse, New York, on this road trip, right? And we get up the next morning from the hotel, we start driving down the highway. Next thing we know, the van starts going like this. Starts wobbling. And his wife was driving, and she looked around and she said, Jim, there's something wrong with the van. I can't remember exactly what was wrong with the van. I'm sure if he sees this video, hi Jim, that he'll probably elaborate on what was the issue, but regardless, it was something to the effect of a ball bearing. We had to pull over, otherwise we were gonna die. Needless to say, we were trapped in Syracuse for about 2 to 3 days waiting on the van to be fixed, which we ultimately got a rental to be able to get us up to college, and then they drove back after the fact and got their van back and went home. This story mainly takes place in the time spent in Syracuse. Now, thankfully, the time in the hotel room was not a bad time. We got a bunch of movies on demand, we got pizza, all that stuff. We just kind of made it a really chill pad for about 3 days. So we decided to go to dinner one of the nights that we stayed in the hotel room. There was a Ruby Tuesdays across the street from the hotel we were staying at, so we thought, oh, this is perfect. We can just walk right across the street, don't have to worry about, trying to fumble with a car or anything. We thought this is the best decision we could make. We're gonna go to a Ruby Tuesdays that's right across the street. We're standing in line, and my friend's mom looks at me and says, Kyle, get whatever you want. This is one of my biggest faults, is that when you open that door, my mind just takes over, and I go, cool, I'm literally gonna get whatever I want. Oh my god, if I was them, I would have hated me so much. So we sit down for dinner, right? And we're at this table, and I'm looking at my menu. I'm not paying attention to what anybody else is getting. And the way that I was looking at this trip was that we were up Crab Creek without a paddle, right? And we were pretty much doing what we could to enjoy ourselves in luxury while we were dealing with, this van being fixed. It was cold. I mean, we were confined to the room, so like after a while it got kind of, just irritating. I mean, not that it wasn't a good time, but we were just ready to move on. So I looked at it, hey, let's offset the suck with some enjoyment. They placed their orders, and then it comes to me, and I look at the menu and I was like, man, get whatever I want. And then I see a meal that I've had 3 times in my life, and this is one of them. I got the surf and turf. The surf and turf. Oh. For those of you that have never had the surf and turf or know what it is the best steak with the best lobster, which is the 2 most expensive things. You don't even get a salad with it. But it's super expensive. I took her invitation openly, and I got the most expensive thing on the menu. I got the most expensive thing on the menu. Now, at this point, I got a lot of dirty looks. Now, it wasn't just because I got the surf and turf. I'm such an asshole. I found out that the three of them got salad bar. Oh God, I wish I was making this up, dude. I didn't even realize what was wrong until the next day. So we eat our meal. Thankfully, my friend's mom saved the day. She was like, Jim, calm down. We're on a road trip. Maybe he's never had it. And the whole time he's just sitting there just... Because he had to pay. So we're walking back to the hotel, which, mind you, is like an ogre's stone throw away, right? And I start feeling whizzing past my head, like, what the freak? It just just whizzing past. Jim was rolling up ice balls and launching them at me and my friend. He didn't even do anything wrong. He was just so angry. He just kept throwing all these ice balls. Just if he would have hit me, he would have killed me. So about 5 years later, Luke, my friend, and I, we went to Taco Bell, but we, for whatever reason, went in separate cars because I think he found out, oh, I have something going on later today, and I said, not a problem, whatever. So he's in the drive-thru behind me at Taco Bell, and I go up to the window and I said, hey, how much is his food? And the person told me, and I said, all right, cool. Well, you know what? Throw it on mine. I'll go ahead and just pay for his too. Random acts of kindness. It's like I like doing that kind of stuff. So I take off, and I felt really good about myself. That's right, I paid for Luke's food. That's awesome. About 5 minutes later, I get a phone call, and he says, come over to our house right now. And I said, why? What's up? And he's like, just come over. You need to come over. I promise everything is fine, but you have to come over. So I make a pit stop at their place. I open the door, right? And I look, and I see Jim, his dad, sitting in his lazy boy. He's got his bag of Taco Bell with a burrito and a drink in his hand, and he looks at me and goes, we're good now. And I said, what do you mean? And Luke looked at me and he said, I went to Taco Bell for Dad. Oh man, that could not have worked out more perfect. It's the best reverse karma I think that's ever happened. Yeah. If there's anything to be learned from this story, if someone says get what you want, don't ever get what you want.